Hi there, this is Mike with Healthcare Leadership Live, and I wanted to talk with you all about networking. And this is a key topic for healthcare leaders, any leader really, because if you don't build a strong network, you have really a lot of limitations in your career and in your job. And so I want to talk about why it's important and what you can do about it. Um, and it might be somewhat surprising. So, this is Healthcare Leadership Live, and I like to share content with healthcare leaders, clinical healthcare leaders in ophthalmology and other specialties. That's actionable advice that will help you be a better leader and a better professional. And as I said, today's topic is networking, and it's something that I have become increasingly passionate about here in the last 12 months since I started working as a consultant. But I think what I've come to learn is I should have been way more passionate and interested in networking much earlier. And I want to get into that here in a minute because networking is really more important than ever. It's more important than ever because, look, right now, this job market is very difficult. It's very difficult for people in the leadership world. I'm not sure why that is. I think the economy is suffering a little bit and companies are hesitant to hire. People are interested in changing jobs. And every job posting, kind of in the middle management, corporate level, seems like it just gets hundreds of applicants. And so standing out is impossible unless you know someone. I would say impossible, but it's very, very difficult to just throw an application over the fence and hope that it lands in the right place and that the person that reads it, thinks you're a great fit. And so having connections is invaluable for that reason alone. Also, there's so much sort of fragmentation in society right now. We're interacting much more in digital realms. We're very busy in our personal lives, and so there's less interaction, face-to-face interaction. We're not connecting with each other as much. We've got kids to take care of, parents to take care of, jobs, and quite frankly, anyone could be, forgiven for saying, "I don't have time for networking. I don't have time to connect with other people." That's the inclination. But I want you to fight against that, and I want to give you some tips to fight against that. Because you can build your network, and you do need to be building your network. And as I said, one reason is to help you find a job. Helping you find a job is one reason. A second reason why you would want to build your network is because it can help you in your current job. Having people that you can count on, rely on, that you can consult with and talk with can be very helpful to give you insights and ideas to be more effective in your current job. And so you really should be doing that to be better as a professional. If you ever decide to start your own business, then you're going to want to have a large network, a strong network, so that there are people that you can reach out to and let them know, hey, I've started a business, and start to expand your network further from there. And so having a strong network is really helpful if you're starting a business. And then lastly, really just for emotional support, it's good to have a good network. Um, you can't do it alone out there in this world. You got to have other people, and sometimes you need people out in the industry that you're in who really get you. I mean, even if you have a spouse or friends, they may not understand your industry, and it's helpful to have people who understand healthcare, understand the stresses and issues that you deal with, who can be more empathetic and of you. Um, Another reason to network is it opens your eyes to new ideas. And so, yes, if you have a question or something, you can go to your network and ask a specific question. But having a broad network opens you up to things you didn't even know about. You didn't even realize were out there. And so, something you wouldn't even thought to ask a question about is something that you could learn about, and because you are interacting with people and hearing about what they're working on, and so then you could take that back to your office or your work, research it, and get involved with some software or some tool that can elevate you. So there's a bunch of reasons why networking is so important. And so how do you do this? This is the key question, because a lot of us are introverted. A lot of people listening are introverted. You don't think that don't think that you can do this. And by the way, if you're watching or listening to this live, I'd love to hear a comment or a question from you through YouTube or LinkedIn, and I'll take those questions here live. But a lot of you are introverted. And even for the extroverts, you may say, well, how do I network? Like, what does that mean? Do I just go around and throw my business card around and schmooze people and buy drinks and, small talk and stuff? And, from the outside, there is some of that. There is some of that type of behavior. And if you don't know what you're seeing, then you might think that that's what it is. It's just sort of backslapping and handing out cards and stuff. But at the end of the day, at its core, networking is really about connecting with people on a human level and offering value to other people. So meeting someone, learning about them, and offering value is how you network. So what do I mean by offering value? So there's many different ways of offering value. One way is just listening to someone and being curious about them, because believe me, people love to talk about themselves, and they love to be heard and understood, and they love to hear you reflect back to them what they've said. And that alone is valuable. Shoot, I would love that. If anyone wants to just listen to me talk and talk about my ideas and my concerns and my problems, please message me, because I would love that. But everyone wants that. Everyone wants someone to understand them and listen. Number two thing you can do is you can share a resource that you learned about. Maybe you learned about a group that you found valuable. Maybe you learned about a software or a tool that you've recently discovered and you're finding it valuable. Maybe you've met a person that you think is a really cool person and a cool connection, and you want to share that with someone else. That's a great value. I've met many people in my career, and very rarely do they offer to introduce me to someone that could help me. But when they do, and this happens much more these days because I've learned how to do this, it happens to me all the time now that someone will say, hey, Mike, I think you should meet Philip, or I think you should meet Savory, because they know what kind of person I'm trying to connect with, and they know that I will add value for them, and they know that they're connecting me to someone that could be a good connection point for me. And really, it's people that help move us forward in our lives. Yeah, I've read plenty of books, and I've, gone to school and stuff, but it's really been the people in my life that have moved my career forward, that have helped me to become better. That's really, at the end of the day, what helps us all to get to the next level in our careers and our relationships and our goals, is people. And so offering to connect your new friend with a person that you know is a really powerful piece of value. Maybe it's an article you read. Sharing an article with someone is a cool thing to do for someone. or even if it's something you wrote or created, or an article you found, or a book that you like. Those are things that you can do to add value for other people. And it doesn't have to be in the moment. Maybe you send them a LinkedIn note. Say, hey, Sally, I was reading this book and I thought about you and I think it's really cool. You might want to check it out. Or, hey, Joe, I read this article on this website and I think it's really awesome. And I think it applies to your situation. Showing that you are thinking about them and you're thinking about the issues that they deal with, that is powerful. I mean, how often do we get that? Not very often, I promise you. That will make you stand out. If you send along a resource via email or text that you think someone would be interested in, that is memorable because it doesn't happen very often. And people appreciate that. They really, really do. And so add value for people. Another thing I want to suggest is when people contact you through email, LinkedIn, or even the phone, they're trying to reach you to sell you something. And my advice with these folks is to make contact with them. And I was the person for 20 years who ignored the calls, who rarely emailed back, and who was dismissive of these vendors and salespeople. And I slowly started to realize that that was a mistake. And now I'm of the mind that it is incredibly important to connect with these folks. And the number one reason, there's actually a few reasons, but the number one reason is these vendors and these salespeople are incredibly well connected. They're incredibly well connected. And when you get laid off, or you have a question, or your kid needs a job in some industry or whatever, these salespeople want to help you. But they'll be less likely to help you if you've been blowing them off. Okay. If you take an interest in their product and you give them an honest chance to, demo or explain what they do, you're going to be able to preserve that relationship. And it is smart to connect with these folks. So if you're going to a conference, if you're going to some kind of a meetup that's sponsored by some EMR or some pharmaceutical company, just connect with the vendors and the salespeople, and be honest with them about where you're at and what your needs are. Hey, you know what? We don't really have a need for that right now. And maybe here's a couple reasons why. And one of my favorite things to do is say, like, a time frame when they can circle back with you. I used to do this all the time. I would say, you know what? We're swamped, but maybe check back with me in 3 months. Or, you know what? Next year might be better because I think we might need this, but we definitely don't need it right now. As a person who has been on the sales side of these calls, it's so helpful when someone can just be clear about what their needs are right now and the timing of when they might have that need. And even if it's like, hey, I never want this, I don't want it, and I'm not interested. If you can connect the salesperson to someone that might, man, that's a bonus point. Let's say I never need this, but you know what? Mandy might need that because I think she might be looking at that issue, and so I can connect you with Mandy. That is huge, and believe me, you'll make a friend for life if you do that for a salesperson. And again, I can't emphasize this enough, but salespeople are very well connected. Another thing about salespeople is they tend to move around. They tend to move around because the industries go up and down and just different things happen. And they change jobs. And so the salesperson that's at a vendor that you're not interested in, maybe in 6 months, they may be in a different organization where you are interested in them, or maybe they're in a better position to help you now. And so don't be dismissive of them today because they can help you tomorrow. And extending value to them applies to salespeople just like it does to other people in your network. add value, see what you can do to help them move their goals forward. And if there was one thing I could do to summarize networking, it's how can you help people? How can you be seen by your network as a person who helps, a person who wants to help? I was at a meeting just last night, and someone introduced a young HR professional to me, and I took that young HR professional and just said, "Hey, I want you to meet my friend Sasha." And just on a whim, I saw Sasha sitting there, and I said, "You know what? I'm going to connect these two people." And they started talking, and Sasha was adding value immediately for this young HR professional. And it was so tremendous to see. And you could just see why, Sasha has built up a great reputation and a career for herself because she adds value for other people. Even someone who's like a young professional who really can't do anything for her, that's not the point. The point is adding value, helping other people. Being known as a helper is a wonderful thing to do. It's going to move you forward. I do want to share a specific tool that I learned recently about. It's a free tool that I've been trying that I think is worth testing out, and it's called Boardy.ai. And I'm going to spell it out for you. BOARDY.ai. It's a free tool. I'm not sponsored by them, but I'm very intrigued. And the way it works is you sign up for an account, and you have to have a WhatsApp account, and it works through your WhatsApp account and your email. And basically what it does is it learns what type of people you want to connect with. And this is great for the introverts out there, I think, because it will help find people to introduce you to. And it learns about what kind of person you want to connect with. And it sends out connection requests to people within its network. And it comes back to you and says, "Hey, Sally, you might be interested in talking to Tom and Zeno." And it tells you a little bit about Tom and Zeno, and you can decide if you want to connect with them or not. And if you want to connect with them, then you can say, "Yes, I do." And what it will do is it will send an email to you and the other person, and it will do like a little email introduction. And then you guys can take it from there. You can email back and forth, or you can just have a live conversation. But it connects you with people who are kind of similar to you, or they are the type of people you want to connect with. So for me right now, I'm trying to connect with a lot of people in ophthalmology, and it's been bringing me ophthalmology connections. And I think it's fascinating. It's a fascinating use of AI. And it's almost like talking to your networking friend. So Boardy.ai is a cool tool to check out. And this kind of brings me, I guess, coming full circle a little bit is, in the age of AI, human-to-human connection is going to be more valuable and more premium than ever, I think, because there's going to be more AI out there. And so actual human connections are going to just become more valuable. They're going to become more valuable. And the AI is going to handle the stuff of like maybe helping you get you find the people to be introduced to, maybe. But then the actual work of talking and relating and helping each other, I think is still going to be a human to human thing. And so now more than ever, connect with people, because what's going to happen is AI is going to automate a lot of things, and it's going to be those human relationships that are going to help you land a job and connect with opportunities and learn new skills. And because the AI isn't going to go out of its way to help you. The AI is just a tool to automate things. And so, but people will go out of their way to help you. They will go out of their way to do you a favor, out of the kindness of their own heart. I don't know that anyone has programmed empathy and altruism into AI yet. I don't know if that will ever be a thing. And so using your human connections, making use of human connections and creating human connections, I think is going to be really valuable, more valuable than ever. And it's already incredibly valuable. So in short, build your network, meet people, give value to the people that you meet, show them that you're thinking about them, share things with them that might be valuable. Maybe it's a job opportunity, an article or a thought. Use tools like Boardy.ai, but don't put more time than ever into networking than you ever have. It's not about being schmoozy. It's about finding people that are like-minded and who you can help, and they will in turn want to help you. So that's my tip for today for leaders in healthcare. If you have questions about this, reach out to me. I love this topic and I love talking about leadership in healthcare. I am a human resources services provider. I help ophthalmology clinics and healthcare clinics to hire, retain, and manage their staff better. And there's a lot that goes into that, but that's what I do. If you're interested in that, I would love to hear from you. If you like this podcast, if you like this show, please subscribe. Follow me on LinkedIn, connect with me on LinkedIn. If you know someone who would be a good guest, please share that as well. But thanks for listening. This is Healthcare Leadership Live. Now go out there and lead with confidence.